coming in here. People don't come here because they want to come here and be homeless. People come here because they want to become successful. And as a lot of the jobs, I don't know how many people worked in tech when it first got started here, where people were working on wafers and bonding and doing all this, evaporative stuff, and working for Intel and all the other companies that were here, Signetics and all that. And even before that, the people who were working in the orchards and the people working in the packing plants. As all that industry left, they left all those people behind. Some of those people were young enough to be able to transition into the newer jobs, and they were able to adapt to that, so they were able to stay there. But a lot of the other people aged out, and they're not going to learn a new skill. They're not going to learn how to do paper quantities. So they're out of it. And then all of a sudden, all these industries start going downhill and start moving away. And then you have the dot-coms. Right? There were tons of dot-coms over here in this area. And people were working for dot-coms, doing all kinds of stuff for them. And then those dot-coms went away. And then, next thing is the biotech industry, or the Apple, or whatever the next flavor is that comes in here. But now a lot of these companies are either software companies where you need to know coding, or they're manufacturing jobs like Tesla, for example, that are now becoming more and more automated, where they have robots that are taking away the jobs from the people. So now you have more and more people that are unable to stay here because the industry has left them behind. I'm an example of that myself. I used to make like $200,000 a year, and I was an engineer, had my own business as a consulting to manufacturers, but try to find a manufacturer that's still here. All the manufacturing has left the country, and those jobs went with them, as my job did. So what we need to do is we need to understand that slowly, we are like frogs. If you take a frog and you put it into boiling water, that frog's going to jump out. But if you put it in cold water and slowly turn up the heat, you can boil that frog to death. Well, we're all frogs. We're all getting boiled here, and it's just a matter of time before we are all victims of that, where our housing, whether it's a house that you own or it's one that you're renting, becomes unaffordable to you. An illness in your family, a loss of a job, a divorce, anything can cause you to become houseless. And then now you're at that bottom trying to figure a way to get out. And if they keep handing you things that keep coming apart, you're not going to be able to survive. You're going to drown. So we need to look at things from a more perspective of, this is our situation. We are all responsible for making a change to that. We are all capable of having a voice. And if you just sit there on your hands, if you just sit there and make no change, then nothing will change. So we need to step up. We need to be active and go to our city council and try to remove some of the barriers. And if I could real quickly just mention Section 8 vouchers. Is that another question?
Can we go on to another question?
All right.
Thank you so much, Robert. And I appreciate these motivating words. I think that I can safely say for all of us that we are the frog alerters, as I think all of you are as well. And I'm proud to be in a room with people that aren't sitting with their eyes closed about the boil, that are out and participating. And that leads me to this next question I'd like to go to Ray on, and that is sort of realizing the community has an interest sometimes to support and also has concerns. And also because sometimes new affordable housing and supportive housing developments can be anchors for new community benefits to improve the neighborhood for everybody. How can neighbors become engaged in the process of designing those developments and picking out the community benefits that they want?
I mean, every neighborhood has its own needs. We have a lot of neighborhoods in San Jose specifically that have been neglected for a long time. We have food deserts where there aren't grocery stores. We have places where community health centers are few and far between. We've got spots in San Jose where it would just be nice to have a coffee shop. All these things are possible integrated into these supportive housing developments that we're talking about. They can all be another benefit and an amenity, but it requires that people be proactively engaged early on in the process and learning, taking time to learn about developments when they come to their community. You can have really great discussions with developers, with your council members, with your neighbors early on in a development cycle. And you can work to figure out what makes best sense for your neighborhood. You're not always going to get what you want, but the idea that it's just housing that's coming to your neighborhood is not true. Is not true. Look at some projects now that are leveraging state dollars. There's a supportive housing development, 162 units of supportive housing along Center Road that is also being leveraged to create a trail which is going to connect the neighborhood to Happy Hollow, a neighborhood rich with families, extremely and low-income families. They're going to be connected to a zoo by a new 2.5 miles of trail that would have never come about if it wasn't for that housing development and what that housing development was able to do to leverage state cap and trade dollars. So I think we just need to change our mindsets, and when you hear about development coming, you can think about all the assets that could be brought to the table. And those assets can't be captured or realized unless you have strong and positive community dialogue and engagement. So neighborhood associations, housing advocacy groups, any way you can to learn about the developments that are coming and finding out what they can do. It's not just for the folks that are living on the street, it's for our community as a whole.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Robert. We have to close it now.
Hey, when I gave you your card and you didn't answer, I'm feeling marginalized.
I apologize. I went into all the
That's
questions.
all.
However, I would
Mayor
encourage
Ricardo wants to build 25,000 housing units in San Jose. Would anybody want to speak to that?
I would encourage you to take your questions to future meetings. We certainly want
Please, just address that question. I've been sitting here for an hour and a half and nobody took my card. Now, I was one of the earlier cards. So there's supposed to be dialogue here and questions answered. I'd like the members of this committee to answer that question to the entire community here.
Well, I've got an answer to that question. That would be nice. It's a nice idea. I think when the Google proposal was first made and people were worried about the housing that was created, he decided, I need to set up a dramatic housing proposal here. So he did, and it was very dramatic. They've already found that it was supposed to be 25,000 units, 10,000 affordable. They've already discovered that they don't have anywhere near enough money to make 10,000 affordable housing units. They'll be lucky to meet 5,000 affordable housing units over that period of time. And as for the market rate, I don't know. There was a meeting at City Hall a couple of weeks ago where the developers came down and said, we're not going to build in San Jose anymore unless the rents go up 25%. So we need to look at a new model of building housing. We need to get city land. We need to get the city actively involved in developing housing itself and bypass the developers that they won't build housing unless they can make a 20% profit on it. That's not right. Other countries do it. They don't have these kind of housing problems in Vienna. In Vienna, a quarter of the housing is publicly owned, and that's the type of model we need to look at. Because I'll tell you one thing, the model we're working on now is not working. Homelessness went up 13% in the last 2 years. 13%. If homelessness is going up 13%, that means what we're doing is not working. We need to change.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you all for your questions. I now will hand it to Jackie to do our introduction. Thank you for your attention.
I'm actually going to turn this over to Mark, and he's going to give you a quick rundown on his organization and what they've been doing, and go to the
Well, it's exciting to see so many compassionate people come out with their concerns for the homeless. I just want to mention, if you're not aware of a grassroots organization that we started about 3 years ago called Sleeping Bags for the Homeless of Silicon Valley. And we're a Facebook-driven organization, so we've had more than 40 different community organizations contribute to our effort or come out with us to the homeless camp. We've made over 30 trips out to the homeless camp. And so we're happy to get your involvement. If, for example, the latest statistic I heard that there's 7,800 people living outside, either in tents or in their cars. And as Sandy said, we're a $1 trillion economy, one of the richest places in the world, yet we have 7,800 people in this county living outside. So we don't. Obviously, the housing first approach is the solution to the problem, but in the meantime, there's a huge amount of suffering out there, and we go out every other weekend and talk to them. So we've made 30 trips out. We do accomplish a lot. For example, I'm a certified biomedical engineer who's worked in hospitals for 20 years, and I personally have encountered 2 people who we were trying to connect with out in the El Nino rain, and they said they needed a tarp or a pen or something, and those 2, we couldn't connect with them, and finally they called us up and said, I'm in the hospital with respiratory problems. So it makes all the sense in the world to save taxpayers' dollars to put them in housing. So another thing we do is we connect with these people who have been out in the outskirts for sometimes years, have a very low sense of self-esteem or connection with the community. And we go out and talk to them and connect with them. So we also have taken hundreds of school children out to the homeless camps. We sign papers from their parents. Every high school in the community has a community service requirement, and we have taken hundreds of school children out there. Also, we publicize the plight of these people, so whatever projects you're working on, we are helping convince the public that it's worthwhile. So, in any case, we're not an exclusive group, so if you have flyers, notices, events you want publicized, we reach out to 7,000 people on the internet. So now I'd like to introduce Hector, who's one of the most passionate members of our group, and he started out just scouting out camps because he knows where the homeless people are, and he eventually took over the lead. So,
how you guys doing? So my name is Hector Garcia. Now I'm the current president of Switching Backs. Mark started it almost 3 years. I joined about 2.5 years ago, and what we do, we collect stuff, just like the stuff that you guys have. Clothes, sleeping bags, tarps, anything. We're a group, non-profit, because we don't get anything out, we don't profit on anything. We do everything that we collect, we go and deliver right to the camps. And it's a great opportunity for us to bring, we work with a lot of schools. It's a great program for us to go and bring the youth, because it's an eye-opener for the kids to look and learn what the life is out there. So they have the opportunity to really realize that what we have at home, it's a great thing in, to make the right choices. So, but also 39% of people living in the streets, they're veterans. And that's something that we don't realize. 32% of the people, of the total population of veterans, they're in California. So not everybody that lives out there in the streets is a criminal. They suffer from a lot of mental illness, as you guys were talking about. But something that we really need to do is focus on what they really need now. Because we're talking about housing, and housing is taking years and years. And the longer it takes, the more money it costs us. So at the end of the day, we are the taxpayers, we're going to be paying for it. So what we need to do is take an action now, because the longer we take, it's going to be multiplied by numerous times. So what the homeless right now they need, we always complain about the garbage and everything that they create. We were able to get them containers of garbage. There's camps that they're willing to pick up all their stuff. We always complain about the litters that we always see on the streets. Unfortunately, what the city does, they go and do a lot of the streets. And they take everything, they destroy everything away. A couple years ago, they used to be able to pick everything up. But there's camps that they keep everything out there. They destroy everything, and they leave it out. Unfortunately, they're not able to pick it up. So that creates more garbage. We're spending money, we're spending tax money, paying for all those services. We were able to provide a container. We could educate them, because we're out there every other week. And we do that. We have homeless people, homeless areas, that they collect all their garbages and they're able to pick it up. So I guess we have to create programs in a way that we will help them out direct right away and help them out right now.
Thank you.
And then also, if you guys need some information, we have some great flyers of our organization right on the table. So if you guys have any questions too, I'll be happy to help you.
Please stick around because any of these people, little do they know, they're gonna stick around when we're done. So, go ahead and if you have more questions for them, ask them. Now, one of our panelists who came late, we kicked off the panel, which was late, with like 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yes, thank you, Jackie. And I'm sorry, I apologize for my 20-year-old automobile. You get here today. I want to thank Ray, who did a great job, actually. He's probably, no, very good job. I want to say I'm Phil Mastrocola from the Winterfaith Collaborative, and some of you know me, and know that we have engaged churches across the whole county to open up their doors for overnight shelters, for daytime centers, and for safe car parks. And the thing that does not get publicized is the safe car parks, simply because they're under the radar. Churches have been doing it in Santa Clara County for years. It's Sally's in her van, or Joe and Mary are in their vehicle. They're here, we don't bother them, they don't bother us. We have tried to institutionalize that, and the City of San Jose is now coming out with a program. The County of Santa Clara will, in a couple of weeks, fund a program for safe car parks. And they are going to be something that's very important because, as we've heard here, many people are very much on the edge. And the reason they're on the edge is because they're in their car and they're this far away from losing their car, from towing it, from tickets, and those sort of things. I am privileged to be part of placing people, because we have a hotline where we get lots of people call every week. And in this last week, we had a call from an engineer who works at Apple, who works in LA and can't afford a place here. He's in a safe car park. I have we had a surgical assistant that works at a hospital. His pregnant wife and his daughter in a safe car park. And we have a lady who works at Kaiser Hospital right here in the mental health crisis line. She is a DV victim and in her car. So these are the people that are in their cars. These are the people we need help. So I want to say one thing here. So I'll hand this back to Jackie. I didn't know a lot about the history of HomeFirst. I found out that in Los Angeles, this first program was started in 1988 by a lady by the name of Tanya Tull in response to sharp increase in number of homeless families with children in order to assess an in-depth screening and assessment for child safety. Okay, why is that important? We went last month to the County Office of Education, where the people in each of the school districts that are represented in that meeting came to talk about the numbers of people, families with children, who have to report by the requirement of the federal government as homeless families and homeless children. We were shocked to find out in Santa Clara County that there are 4,714 children, minor children, I mean school-age children. We're not talking college or high school. School-age children, 4,701 that are reported. That doesn't count the vast majority who want to stay anonymous and don't report that they're homeless, that they live in their cars. That is an epidemic. It's huge. That's just the child. That doesn't count their family, their mother, their father, whoever. That could be thousands of people. So we have come full circle. We have come full circle because we have now an epidemic of children and families living in their cars, living in their cousin's couch, living 3 or 4 in an apartment. And that's the thing that we have to start to look at as a compelling reason why we need to build more affordable housing, need to have people in our neighborhoods, need to have great jobs in the community, safe car parks, and all these things that these fine folks are talking about. Thank you for the time, Jackie.
First and foremost, I want to thank this amazing panel and our moderator for taking your time out of your busy days and busy weeks, I'm sure, with Affordable Housing Week, to come here and to talk with us. Thank you very much. I hope you guys give yourselves all that they can for coming out this evening and doing what so many people aren't doing, which is to learn about the problems. I I want to just quickly say, none of this is going to be resolved unless those of us who are sitting here today take whatever action we can. And what does that mean? For some of us, it means maybe just showing up and helping one time a year at a shelter. Maybe it means donating some clothes. Maybe you have a little bit more that you can do. It means going out to the homeless, helping to serve, to see what's going on. Not to have me tell you or somebody else. Because until we see, until we know, we can't truly understand. And unless we're sleeping on the street, I don't think any of us understand. I know. I've never had to do that in my entire life. I've always had a place to sleep, a place that I could rest my head. I've never had that insecurity. But just think about something. What if once you left these doors tonight, you didn't get in your car to go to your home? You walked out those doors, you didn't know where you were going to go for the evening. Because you didn't know where to go. And I know we all feel differently about this. But if we come together and talk about it, really listen to each other, we can figure out a way to solve these problems, to make it work. And I'm so happy to see so many people here. And I encourage you to please get involved with our organization, with any of these organizations here. Go to the city council meetings. Go to planning meetings. Learn what these things are. And once you start to learn, your prejudices change too. I was not a housing first advocate. I thought whoever dreamed that up was, probably, on drugs or something. I said, are they crazy? But then I started to read, and I started to learn. And when I finally realized what they were talking about, it made complete sense. So thank you so very, very much for taking the time this evening to come here. If you could help put a few chairs away, that would be great. If you'd like to talk to any of our panel, I encourage you to ask them some more questions. Thank you very much. And please take some food, okay? And also, we have a sheet in the back on the table, and it's how to get involved. All sorts of different levels. There are some shelters where it's full. Some of the churches have rotating shelters, and you can go and volunteer for just a few hours. Just a few hours. And you can serve food, or you can do any number of things, or maybe do laundry for somebody. But there's a whole bunch of, you can write letters, you can advocate, you can of course always write a check. Nobody's ever going to really turn the money down. But there's so much more that you can do. And that's what it's all about, because as a community, all of us together is what it's going to take. Because these folks can't do it by themselves. It's all of us together to really have the political